Hey guys, thanks for tuning into my channel. This is my Magnum Opus Gaming here with the coverage of the Dresden Cup. I know I'm a little bit late with this video. This is just going to be like a quick review, some things that we can improve on. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. So let's get started. The Dresden Cup was quite the disappointment, and we lost 2-1 to Dynamo Dresden. Dresden is in the third division of the Bundesliga. After finishing first last season, they reached Division 2 for this coming season. Um, we are in the first division of the English Premier League, obviously. I've never even heard of Dresden or any other team in the second division. So basically what I'm saying is Newcastle, Hull City, Aston Villa, Swansea, whoever you name it, would have beat this team. We should have. If we really want to finish a lot higher this season, possibly a Champions League spot in the coming years, how can we lose to Dresden or Real Betis or whatever? Any first division Bundesliga team would crush Dresden, and any first division Bundesliga team would be crushed by Bayern Munich or any other Champions League team. So basically the point I'm trying to get at is if we want to be able to beat top level English Premier teams, Chelsea, Man City, Tottenham, Liverpool, Arsenal, any one of those, that's kind of what we got to do to get higher in the table, is to be able to beat those better teams. And if we can't even beat a team like Dresden, then we got a problem there. So basically the takeaway from this is, despite crushing our previous opposition in the other friendlies and having clean sheets in all games but one, we aren't ready for top table Premier League teams. We did play youngsters and we didn't have a true striker for the first few friendlies, but that only exposes our need for new players. At least 2 to 3 of them. Like I said, for this game, we don't really have any excuses. Our players were fit enough for this game. We had some starters in from last season, like Lukaku and Deulofeu, at least for the second game. That's what I mean. So we were the better team on paper. We should have won with that game. Last game, a little bit more leeway, and they definitely were a lot better than the first team. They probably won the whole tournament. But still, we should have beat them if we expect to move on and play harder teams. So I'll quit with the bad vibes and complaining and all this, but us Everton fans really desire change at this club, especially when it comes to match results, of course. So I don't want us to lose this optimism right before our first game with these pathetic losses against these weak teams. So let's try to review what went wrong. Let's see where our strengths and weaknesses were in those two games. And so let's just get started with the formation, lineup, and other match stats from the first game. Looking at the 4-3-3 formation, Barkley and Stones went out in the 70th minute for Dow and Holgate. So I'm not going to bore you guys with too much of the details of the goals. Basically, I can say that Dresden was more of an attacking threat than we got with the other friendly matches, like Barnsley and the other opponents. So with this, it was a little bit of luck on the Dresden part, little ball watching on ours, and then just a little bit of lax defending. Not man marking as great as we should be. So that's kind of where the goals came from. But I narrowed down the reasons why we lost to 3. Number 3 is poor passing in the final third. This minimized the already few chances we had, and it broke down our attack so they could counter. That's why the possession was completely off. That brings us to our second point. Dresden spread out our defense, which allowed them to escape our high-pressure defense. So when we had the ball, they pressured us to force Skekelenburg to clear it up the field, which why we lost possession, and they made our midfielders pass it back to the defense, which then brought it back to our keeper. That's why you see Dresden had 59% possession. We only had 41%. So number 1, we've allowed the other team chances before, rather threatening ones, but we lost 2-1 because this team is better at finishing, and we struggled a bit offensively. Not to mention the fact that their defense didn't allow breakdowns like we saw in the MK Dons game. So we didn't get too lucky with the goals. Deulofeu had an amazing free kick, but it was really the fact that they just outscored us. They were a lot better with their finishing when we weren't. Now for the second game against Real Betis, I guess. Basically what I hated about this game was how much the other team flopped, how much they fell over with just a little bit of contact, and how the jerseys were very similar to ours. When you look at it on the TV, it was very similar, dark green and then black. So anyway, moving on, here's some match facts for the first half. If you want to pause it and take a look at those, go ahead. I'm going to be moving on to a little bit about the key players for the games, for both games. Honestly, I want to hate Kone, but he did pretty good. He maintained possession. He distributed the ball pretty well. We saw the same thing from Cleverly. Cleverly played pretty good. He played on Koeman's side for both halves, just to keep an eye on him, I guess. And he definitely played pretty good. And then Beshik, of course, always plays good. Lately, he's been doing amazing. Um, Somebody that didn't do very good was Lukaku. He's been sitting so far up. He's basically in the other team's box for the entire game. He's just waiting for the ball to get back an offense, and then he calls for it when he has 3 people on him. That's kind of how his play style is. He's really just a player that once we get into the box, we pass to him, and he shoots and scores or something, or gets a touch on it. I would like to see a little bit more out of him, a little bit more effort, and just moving forward. So here's the formation for the first half. I really didn't like how we played in the first half. I thought we were the weaker team in the first half. And we picked up the pace a little bit in the second half, and that's what kind of made it seem a little bit more of a divided match until we got to the penalties, of course. But formation's kind of weird. We really packed our midfield with just straight up center mids, even though people were playing a little bit wide. And I liked how Kone, he was basically the guy in the point man for the offense. He got the ball, tried to get us forward, and that's why we didn't really get forward that much, because there was only one option. There's a match stats for the second half. If you want to take a look at those, I'm just going to be moving on. We switch up the formation a little bit. I feel like that's the stronger formation of the two halves. So just take a look at that. And when it came to Dow and Holgate, they played well when they got in there. So I don't really have anything to say about them. Oh, and Grant played really good when he got into the second half. He got at least 2 shots off. Saw a little bit more confidence out of him, just like Beshik. Hopefully he starts playing Grant a little bit more. Maybe gives him a little bit more time to actually see him fully formed in there. He had some good chemistry with Dow, so I definitely would like to see more. He wasn't good from kicks to the mark, though he missed, like a few of our other players. So that obviously shows that we need to practice penalty kicks a little bit more. And I feel like that's where the youth really screwed us up. Obviously, since we're still in preseason, there's going to be some things that we need to work on, things we need to develop a little bit more. I would like to go in and make a video maybe about the strategy, some of our strengths and weaknesses with those previous strategies that we have. I don't really have the time for that in this video, so hopefully we see some more improvements in the game before we play Tottenham coming up. But anyways, thanks for watching. You know what to do. Like, comment, and consider subscribing for more Everton videos like this one. See you next time.